Hey guys, the Common Man here. So I've got a knife here that I've had this for a little bit now, and I wanted to do a review on it ever since I got it, honestly, but I just never got around to it. Life has just been so crazy. It's been really hard to get time to make these videos, even though I really want to. Quick life update, we are actually currently in a whole other state. We have moved to Utah, so from Maryland, we are now in Utah, just kind of living life. My work life, my career kind of got to a point where I decided I'm going to be making a change here. Full disclosure, I actually was a police officer, and I've just decided to make a career change. Everything going on in life and with the job, it was just time to make a decision, and my decision was more geared towards my family. And sorry, my stickers are kind of all messed up. I don't actually stick them to the, you know what, that's driving me crazy. We're gonna get these two out of here. Okay. Anyway, it was it kind of opened up some time in our lives where I can watch the boys. So we are now in Utah, kind of just living life for a little while. Probably a short-term move. Well, definitely a short-term move. We'll be working our way back to Maryland at some point. But yeah, we're just seeing what the West has to offer, and so far we're really enjoying it. So that being said, kind of gives you a background of why I say life's been a little bit crazy, but I'm really hoping to get up and running with some more videos here as I get some more spare time. But anyway, what we're looking at here is the Demko. This is the Demko Shark Cub, a very cool knife by Demko that's been out for some time now. When it first came out, I was a little bit nervous about it because of the size. I'm usually not not really into smaller knives necessarily, but this one definitely caught my eye because I really enjoy the shark lock, and then also the blade shapes they offered. The handle just appeared to be something that would just be perfectly, like very good ergonomics. It looked like a very comfortable knife that would be great for EDC, and I can tell you, I'll just kind of give a spoiler, it is an excellent EDC choice. The only thing is, and I'm kind of bummed about this, but I bought this secondhand. I would say 90% of the time I really have lucked out on secondhand market. I've been getting some excellent knives, very good quality, like new condition. This knife, unfortunately, is not that. It is, as far as I can tell, this is a true Demko knife. It doesn't appear to be a knockoff. If you see anything that kind of leads you to believe it might be a knockoff, please let me know. But unfortunately, I've had some issues with this guy. So again, Demko Shark Cub, this is the, oh boy, what do they call this? The clip point blade, I believe. I'll put it in the bottom, but I believe this is the clip point. I don't think it's a drop point necessarily. But anyway, it's a blade shape that I was really interested in. The last Demko that I had was an 80-20.5 in their shark, what do they call it? The shark's foot blade shape, which was, it's okay. It was good for EDC tasks, but it wasn't quite right for me. I wanted something with a little bit finer tip, a little bit better at the pokey jobs. But anyway, we'll kind of go into the issues that I had with this knife. And the thing is, I don't want this to be a representation of Demko or this knife, the Shark Cub in general, because the thing is, I think this is just something specific to my knife. Maybe these are issues, well, one issue in particular that could happen to others, but I'm really chalking it up to, unfortunately, I just got kind of an abused knife. But first off, the edge, unfortunately, the previous owner really didn't do a great job with this sharpening. It was definitely resharpened. The tip is not great. It's definitely been rounded off. And again, in the resharpening process, the bevel is just kind of messed up. It didn't come very sharp. So I think after this review, I'm going to also be uploading a sharpening video to try to get that edge fixed up. Another issue with this knife, well, a couple of issues. One, little bit of side-to-side play. I actually did take this knife apart and tried to fix some of these issues, like the blade play side-to-side. I actually was able to correct that by just adjusting the pivot. It worked out quite well. But the issue that I was not able to correct, which I'm really bummed out about, is lock rock. If you can hear, I'm going to hold it up to the microphone. I want you to hear this. There is actually up and down play, and I'm sorry for the shadows. I'm doing the best I can with my current setup. I'm not in my usual location. Obviously, I'm in a whole other state, so just working with what I got here. But the up and down blade play it's there. It's definitely there. You could probably hear it. If I push forward on this shark lock, the disengagement lever, the blade play goes away, and it's, for the most part anyway, there's still a little bit of play. So I tried to take this apart. I thought maybe if I had moved these two pivots and swapped their positions, maybe it would fix it. Maybe they were just slightly different tolerances. It didn't fix it. I have the same blade play. I'm out of ideas, unfortunately, so I'm just kind of living with it. I think I am going to hit up Demko and see if they can do anything for me, maybe take the knife back and try to fix it up. But, if I do that, I will certainly keep you guys updated. Anyway, I'm trying not to focus on those little things because, again, I think this knife just kind of lived an abused life, to be honest with you. It's not great that it developed that up and down blade play, and in my opinion, knives really shouldn't, even with long-term use, really shouldn't develop that kind of blade play, especially with how new of a model this is. It hasn't been out that long. This knife really could have only been out for a couple of years, and I even after a couple of years of use, that kind of blade play to develop in the locking mechanism is a little, I don't know. I'm not super happy about that. But anyway, I don't want to give it I don't want to knock it too bad on that because I did buy it used. You always have to be wary of doing that. Anyway, let's just talk about the knife itself. The blade is actually excellent. It's a small blade or small-ish blade. We can go ahead and get some measurements here. Oops. I've got my little toolbox sitting next to me. Oh man, sorry guys about this shadow behind me. I'm not sure what I can do about that. Anyway, blade length is going to be about 2 3/4. The entire knife is about 6 3/4. So it is a smaller knife, that's for sure. It's not a big knife by any means. It's a really nice compact EDC size. While we're at it, let's go ahead and get a size comparison. I don't have all my knives available to me right now, but we'll go ahead and put it up against this Spyderco Para 3, and you can see it's probably about a 1/4 inch shorter than the Spyderco Para 3, which for me is already kind of on the small side for an EDC knife. Let's see if I can get another one. And by the way, I got for our travels, well, my wife got me this for Christmas, the NAF's Knife Burrito. Incredible. I'm actually going to upload a video on this because I love this thing by NAF's, and that is Ben Peterson's knife company, which is super cool. There we go. We're going to do the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, considerably larger than the Demko. And man, that shadow is really driving me nuts. Sorry, we're just going to have to put up with it. There's not really anything I can do about it right now. So yeah, anyway, pretty compact knife. The thing is, the size was certainly something that I was a little bit nervous about with this knife. It was kind of keeping me from wanting to pay the full price because I was thinking, I'm going to pay full price for it. I'm probably end up going to moving it on down the road because it's probably going to be too small. But to be honest with you, after picking this version up for considerably less than brand new price, I'm actually very happy with it. It is a small knife, it's compact, but honestly, it is enough knife to get done whatever you need it to. An excellent EDC knife, EDC size. If I want a big bruiser of a knife, then I'm going to carry something like my Spyderco, my Manix 2, which is in my pocket right now. I mean, if I need a tough knife, this is what's going to be in my pocket. If I'm just looking for an EDC, everyday task kind of knife, it's going to be something like this size, honestly. Usually it's a Para 3. But anyway, we'll keep on moving. As far as the scales, the ergonomics, I mean, it's very, very comfortable. This particular model has the G10. Just a slight bit of texturing on there. It's actually a very, very nice texture. It's very satisfying. It's not super like the peel ply like on a Spyderco. It's not nearly that aggressive. It almost feels kind of like a like sometimes when you get like a carbon fiber that has a little bit of texturing on it, like the woven. It's kind of like that, but it's not woven. It's definitely more of a peel ply type, but it's very soft, but it's also grippy at the same time. All of the finger grooves are actually very, very, they're very well laid out. And the thing is, this knife, you can choke back on it, and you actually will get a full 4-finger grip here. But this knife is definitely intended to be choked up on, and you can tell by the ergonomic design that they want you putting your pointer finger right up here in that choil. You also get a very nice little sharpening choil. Not a ton of life in that, a few sharpenings and you're going to start getting up into the blade material. But it's not bad. I like to see the sharpening choil. And what's very nice is how close that edge starts to your finger. You have excellent control right up in here. So nice, close, exact cuts. Very well done. The blade is it's a flat grind that goes up, about 3/4 up the blade, and it is relatively sharp or thin behind the edge. I would say not very thin though. What do we want to say? I'm going to go ahead and just pull out my Spyderco Para 3 for comparison. Most of you guys are probably familiar with this knife. Spyderco Para 3, I don't have a way to measure necessarily. The Para 3 does feel a little bit thinner behind the edge. And let's check out the blade stock. Although the blade stock on the Demko is considerably thinner, but yeah, not quite as thin behind the edge on the Demko. You do have the kind of cartridge liners here that kind of facilitate the locking mechanism. There are no liners that continue the rest of those G10 scales, so these are really just slabs of G10. They are not hollowed or milled out, so they are actually very, very sturdy. There's really not much flex going on there at all. Pretty simple construction too. You've got a few standoffs here. And then one thing that I really like about this that they changed from the 80-20.5 is the pocket clip, and they got rid of the lanyard hole. I'm not a lanyard hole fan. I don't really put lanyards on many of my knives. You might notice that I actually took the lanyard off of my Para 3 because it was just getting annoying. So I think at this point I can say confidently if it's got a pocket clip, it will not have a lanyard. So I'm happy with that here. No lanyard hole. You can also see someone mismatched, and maybe this is a problem, but I doubt it. But someone clearly messed up the hardware. So this hardware on this knife is, as far as I can tell, it's been mixed up with other knives or something, because it's sort of mismatched. Anyway, back to the pocket clip. So the pocket clip on the 80-20.5 incorporated a lanyard hole in it. It looked kind of goofy. This one is very clean, very simple, very thin, and it works excellently. I don't love the fact that it kind of comes up and goes to that flat right here. It can easily grab on stuff, but I can say I haven't really had that issue. It does go in and out of the pocket quite nicely, and it's got great retention up against this slight texture here on the G10, so it stays in the pocket quite well, and it sits very, very deep in the pocket. So, I mean, honestly, this knife, you can tell, is just geared 100% to everyday carry and kind of just simplicity, but also sturdiness, because that lock is something serious. We have not talked about the action. Let's go ahead and talk about that. The 80-20.5, I think I mentioned it in my videos. It took a little bit of time to sort of get used to the Shark lock. You had to pull it a little bit farther than you might have thought. You know, it wasn't 100% intuitive. This one is about the same. It almost feels like you might have to pull it a little bit further, or it seems like you have to pull it a little bit further than even the 20.5. Once you get used to it, though, and you realize you really just got to give it the beans and get it all the way back there, it works quite well. You can also use the Shark lock to deploy the knife, which is pretty satisfying. I would say, you know, my favorite method of deployment with this knife is the reverse flick. You just kind of get your middle finger sort of nestled behind that thumb stud there, and you just send it right open. You can do it with your pointer finger as well, or forefinger. Of course, this does have thumb studs. I would say the thumb stud deployment on this particular knife, I don't know if they're all this way, but it's a little goofy. The only way you can successfully deploy it with the thumb stud is if you very specifically send your thumb directly that way. It has to be sent in line with the center line of the knife. You can't send your thumb out that way. It did work that time. It rarely does. Usually you're going to get a soft deployment. Somehow I am managing to do it now. Yeah, see, exactly. So I'm sending my thumb out that way, which is kind of my natural instinct to send it sort of outward. But you gotta send your thumb straight forward. It's a weird little nitpicky thing, but it's something that you really got to train yourself. And once you get consistent with it, the knife becomes pretty reliable. But I still love that reverse flick. I'm a Spyderco guy. I love the reverse flick. Usually the Spidey holes are kind of my thing. But you know, this works really well. And the lockup, like I said, it's, you know, that play is a real bummer, but man, my 80-20.5, again, it was the same locking mechanism. It was awesome. It was rock solid. It had no blade play, side to side, up or down, nothing like that. So that's why I'm really confused about this. This is just odd. Anyway, guys, overall, I really like this knife more than I expected, especially when I saw what the dimensions were. It feels like you have more knife than what it is, to be honest with you. It feels like it's going to tackle jobs that you may not really think to grab this small of a knife for, but it does it really well. And yeah, anyway, I'm just very happy with it. I do want to get that edge cleaned up. Like I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and upload a video of that, try to get that thing sort of back to factory edge condition, and anyway, we'll see if we can. So stay tuned. I'm probably going to be uploading that video pretty soon. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Again, please, this is a secondhand knife. This is one of the few times I really did not luck out secondhand. So I'm not going to knock the Demko Shark Cub over this particular knife that I have here. I can't. I don't feel right about it. So I'm hoping in the future I can get a new Demko Shark Cub at some point to hopefully sort of correct some of these issues. And I'd just love to see it in its factory condition. But anyway, very cool knife. Again, you know, now having this knife, I would spend the money for a new version for sure. So thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more of my videos, definitely consider subscribing. Stay tuned. I'm really hoping to get some more videos up more regularly here as time goes on. So yeah, thanks. Bye.